The fifth-generation iPod Touch is a multi-purpose pocket computer designed and marketed by Apple incorporated with a touch-screen-based user interface. It succeeds the fourth-generation iPod Touch. Like the iPhone 5, the fifth-generation iPod Touch is a slimmer, lighter model that introduces a higher resolution, 4-inch screen to the series with 16:9 widescreen aspect ratio. Other improvements include support for recording 1080p video and panoramic still photos via the rear camera, an LED flash, Apple's A5 chip, and support for Apple's Siri. Additionally, colors were added to the iPod Touch. Available in space gray, silver, pink, yellow, blue, and product red, the fifth-generation iPod Touch was unveiled at Apple's media event alongside with the iPhone 5 on September 12, 2012 and was released on October 11, 2012. The device was initially only sold in 32GB and 64GB models. The first 16GB model, introduced on May 30, 2013, was only available in one color and lacks the rear eyesight camera and the iPod Touch loop that is included in the 32 and 64GB models. A new 16GB model was introduced on June 26, 2014 and includes the rear camera and full range of color options. The pricing for the iPod Touch has also changed. The 16GB model now sells for $199 instead of $229. The 32GB model sells for $249 instead of $299, and the 64GB model sells for $299 instead of $399. Features, operating system and software. The fifth-generation iPod Touch features iOS, Apple's mobile operating system. The user interface of iOS is based on the concept of direct manipulation, using multi-touch gestures. Interface control elements consist of sliders, switches, and buttons. Interaction with the OS includes gestures such as swipe, tap, pinch, and reverse pinch, all of which have specific definitions within the context of the iOS operating system and its multi-touch interface. Internal accelerometers are used by some applications to respond to shaking the device or rotating it vertically. Initially shipped with iOS 6, which was released on September 19, 2012, it can play music, movies, television shows, e-books, audiobooks, and podcasts and can sort its media library by songs, artists, albums, videos, playlists, genres, composers, podcasts, audiobooks, and compilations. Users can rotate their device horizontally to landscape mode to access cover flow. This feature showed the different album covers in a scroll-through photo library. Scrolling is achieved by swiping a finger across the screen. Alternatively, headset controls can be used to pause, play, skip, and repeat tracks. However, the earbuds that comes with the iPod does not include a remote and mic. The voice control feature can also be used to identify a track, play songs in a playlist or by a specific artist, or create a Genius playlist. Like the iPhone 4S and later models, the fifth-generation iPod Touch was the first in the iPod Touch lineup to include Siri, that allows the user to operate the device by spoken commands. The software was improved in iOS 6 to include the ability to make restaurant reservations, launch apps, dictate Facebook or Twitter updates, retrieve movie reviews and detailed sports statistics. Typing can be aided by the voice assistant, which converts speech to text, and also supports iMessage, a specialized instant messaging program and service that allows unlimited texting to other Apple devices running iOS 5 or later. Some newer applications and features that came with iOS 6 included Apple Maps, Passbook and screen mirroring. Apple Maps, which replaced the former Map application, lacks many features present in competing Maps apps and is also known to give wrong directions to users, which still not fixed after the iOS 7 updates. The new Apple Maps app uses Apple's new vector-based engine that eliminates lag, making for smoother zooming. New to Maps is turn-by-turn navigation, spoken directions, 3D views in some major cities and real-time traffic. The new Passbook app is able to retrieve documents such as boarding passes, admission tickets, coupons and loyalty cards. An iOS device with Passbook can be scanned under a reader to process a mobile payment at locations that have compatible hardware. AirPlay was made available, which allows screen mirroring through an Apple TV or other supported external device. Allows the screen of the iPod Touch to be mirrored, and was the first generation of the iPod Touch to support it. iOS 7 was released on September 18, 2013 to all iOS devices. This generation was the only iPod Touch in the iPod Touch lineup to run iOS 7. On June 2, 2014, it was announced that the iPod Touch 5th generation would receive iOS 8.4. It was released on September 17, 2014. Hardware. The 5th generation iPod Touch features the Apple A5 chip, which is similar to the one on the iPhone 4S, iPad 2 and the iPad mini. The chip comprises a 1 GHz dual-core ARM Cortex-A9 processor and a PowerVR GX 543MP2 GPU, making it faster than the 4th generation iPod Touch, which uses the Apple A4 chip. Storage capacities available are available at 32 or 64 GB, with a 16 GB announced at a later date to replace the previous generation. The storage capacities of the iPod Touch is fixed, like any iOS devices released. Plug and memory cards are not supported. The Retina display of the iPod is similar to the one on the iPhone 5, measuring 1136 by 640 pixels with an aspect ratio of almost exactly 16:9. Measuring 4 inches diagonally, it has a display size of 6.7 square inches and a pixel density of 326 ppi, which remains the same as the 4th generation. Screen icons are arranged in a matrix of 6 rows of 4 icons each. With a larger screen than the previous generation model, the 5th generation iPod Touch allows a 6th row of icons to be added to the 5 rows that were present in the 4th generation iPod Touch. However, the 5th generation iPod Touch does not include an ambient light sensor, which was included in the previous generation. The new iSight camera has 5 megapixels and is capable of 1080p video recording with an illuminated sensor and an LED flash. The front-facing camera was also upgraded to 1.3 megapixels, capable of 720p video compared to the VGA 0.3 megapixel front camera on the 4th generation. Design. The 5th generation iPod Touch comes in colors like the iPhone 5C. Its finish features an aluminum unibody, which is made from same kind of anodized aluminium used in the MacBook line. With a new iSight camera and an LED flash at the back, the iPod Touch includes a new feature known as the iPod Touch Loop. At the bottom left corner on the back of the iPod Touch, it features a button which is activated by pressing it down to allow a loop to attach to the iPod Touch. Other changes to the iPod Touch include the addition of colors. It is available in 5 different colors: space gray, silver, pink, yellow, blue and product red. The space gray version comes with a black screen, while the rest of the color variants of the iPod comes with a white screen. The 5th generation iPod Touch was initially released in 32 GB and 64 GB models. A 16 GB version that does not include the iSight camera, the LED flash and the iPod Touch Loop was released on May 30, 2013. This model was replaced with a 16 GB model that does include the back camera, various color options and iPod Touch Loop button on June 26, 2014. Accessories. The 5th generation iPod Touch, as well as the iPhone 5, iPod Nano, iPad, and iPad mini feature a new dock connector named Lightning, replacing the 30-pin Apple connector which was first introduced by Apple in 2003 on the 3rd generation iPod. The Apple Lightning connector has 8 pins and all signaling is digital. The new connector also can be inserted either way round, unlike the 30-pin connector which can only be inserted in one way. Adapters will be released by Apple to convert the Apple Lightning connector to the older 30-pin Apple dock connector or USB. Although not all accessories will work with the adapter, as not all signals are available, in particular video output and the iPod Out feature for BMW automobiles. Earphones known as Apple AirPods are also included with the 5th generation iPod Touch and other devices announced at the Apple Media event on September 12, 2012. They superseded earphones that were included with previous generation iPhones and iPods. According to technology commentators, the redesign of the earphones is aimed to improve sound quality by allowing air to travel in and out more freely. Apple states that the redesign of their earphones allows it to rival high-end headphones that cost hundreds of dollars more. Reviews by Gizmodo and TechRadar reported that although the redesigned earphones sounded better than its predecessor, reviewers felt that quality of sound produced is poor. TechRadar further stated that the earpods are inferior to other earphones of a similar price. Other accessories that will come with the iPod Touch include the lanyard for the iPod Touch Loop. See also: List of iPod models, List of iOS devices. References. External links: iPod Touch official site.